Hey guys, today I want to do a video about what's an honest, decent minimum to live in the Philippines. Minimum, okay? We're talking about. I know a lot of people have a lot of different ideas on this. And we always get a lot of arguments about, well, I can live on 500, I can live on 400, I can live on 700. I'm talking about what's an honest, decent minimum. Key word is decent. I did this video about 2 years ago, and things have changed since then. And I wanted to kind of do like a rehash or a remake of this video, and I thought this video might help because a lot of people are asking, "Hey Steve, what's a real good minimum to live over there, but not live like in poverty or like you're living on a farm and you got to grow vegetables and you got to have chickens and stuff like that." We're talking about an honest, decent minimum to be retired, to be laid back, to have a good life over here. You really need anywhere between $1,500 to $2,000, somewhere in there. And that's cutting it low. I'm talking about a basic, decent minimum. Minimum is also a key word there. So like you have to kind of think of it as you're just making it. You're living decent, you're living okay, but it's the minimum. Now, what do I mean by minimum? I'm talking about the basic necessities. AC, I'm talking about possibly having a hot water heater put in. So you're gonna need some money when you come home over here to bring, as I always tell people. Now this video here is gonna be basically telling people where to live and how to live on a decent level where you're happy that you're not poor and you're okay that you're not wealthy. You're in between. You're kind of, you know what, this ain't bad. I can live like this. And this here would include Wi-Fi. It would include insurance for the average person here. I'm talking about low cost, low budget insurance through Pacific Cross. Talking about people all the way up to age 75. You would be able to still have insurance, okay, on this level, on like $1,500 to $2,000. You'll be living good. Could you live below that? Yes, you could, but you're not going to be living well. Now, a lot of guys out there, vloggers, will tell you, "Oh man, I'm living cheaper than that. I only get this much income." But a lot of these vloggers don't tell you that they're also getting money from their vlog and they're getting money from their pension, and they're not including everything in that. Okay, because they don't tell you about the times that they go out to eat, the times they're putting new stuff into their house or whatever. They're not talking about that. I'm talking about getting a place over here, possibly $80 to $150, somewhere in there, or even $60 in some cases, as we have over here. We have one place over here that Justin's working on. He's getting that for $60 a month, and that's a decent apartment. It's tiny. He's fixing it up. He's painting it. He's sealing all the walls off with the cement sealant so you don't get that chalkiness on there. He's doing it up right. Now, when you get here and you get a place, the first things you got to do is mount your TV on the wall. You got to, put your hot water heater in. You got to get a refrigerator. You got to do everything that's right to fix up the place. You need to do a lot of things usually, but also food. Now, for a single person over here, food is not that much. You can go out to eat. You can go to some of the local street food restaurants, not necessarily street food, but street side restaurants that are very reasonable and cheap, and you can get a decent meal for very reasonable prices over here. But I want to say this here also, and I mentioned this in the first video because I went back and I watched it and said, how can I better this video? And I remember talking on there about the PRA. The PRA, the minimum amount that you can come in here on the PRA is $1,000 for a single person. It's $1,500 for a married person to come into the country. So in other words, they're saying you need at least $1,000 to come in here and live as a single person, and you need $1,500 to be a married couple living over here. Okay, so that's kind of says it all. Now remember, those are old. Those rates are old. So I would say that now those have probably gone up, probably $200 or $300 from that. I would say you'd need $1,300 at a minimum to come in here and live as a single person and live decent, because you need transportation, you need to be able to do things, you need to be able to get around, and we got Justin over here. He's in the background here. Want to say hi, Justin? We're doing a video.
Hey guys.
This is Justin. He's over here and he's doing the apartment over here for $60. So he's fixing that one up over there. He's painting it and doing all the work in there.
Just got a motorcycle and today's my birthday and having fun.
So, but anyway, guys, that's what we're doing around here. We're fixing up that place, and you can do the same thing over here. But remember, to live here decently, you really honestly need that amount of money to survive here. You really got to have your stuff together and make sure you have your emergency money, your insurance. You also want to have your Wi-Fi in. These are all costs that you have to have. But the biggest thing is that a lot of people don't think about, and this is why I say the $1,500 to $2,000, because you need to save for an emergency. If God forbid you go into the hospital and the insurance doesn't pick up something or whatever, you need to have like $200 to $300 a month or more going into some sort of savings account. We have several people here in the Philippines right now that have all kinds of medical bills, and we have actually one guy here right now in town, and he cannot leave the hospital till he pays his medical bill. They're holding him. This can happen to you. You know, it can happen to you. Don't think that it can't. That's why you want to come over here with at least that minimum amount. I say, like I said, $1,500 to $2,000 is at a minimum. And if you really want to live in the sweet spot where you're living better, where you can travel back home, go back to the States and live better, $2,000 to $3,000 plus, you know, to live decent over here. We have guys over here that are really living in the super sweet spot, and I'm going to be showing some of those homes pretty soon. And you can live in some of these homes for $500 furnished at some of the gated communities around here. You can live in a beautiful, beautiful home over here for $500 a month. You know, in a gated community, all furnished, all ready to roll, pool, you know, guards at the gate, everything. You can live there $500. Now, that's why the sweet spot budget is a lot better, because you can live in a place like that. And that way, you're kind of always on vacation, because you're living in a beautiful home, you have a beautiful pool, you're ready to roll. You just fill up the refrigerator, make sure you got good Wi-Fi there, and you're pretty good. You're in a good spot and you're happy. You know, for me, I like living small. I like having the extra money in my pocket. I like to be able to travel. So for me, living in an $80 place or a $70 place is much better than living in one of those bigger places. Would I want to live in one of those places later on? Maybe as I age, yes, I might want to live in one of those places because I might not want to travel as much. And as I age and maybe I hit like 64, 65, I might say, you know what? Hey, I'm going to move into one of those other places over there. The ones that are going for $500, or the ones that are going for $600 that are fully furnished. Do a lease on it for like 5 or 10 years or something like that. And then just stay in there. And I got a pool down the street. I got, you know, I can just get a little scooter. I can send my girlfriend out to get the food or whatever. I don't have to worry about anything. Have my driver come over and pick me up once in a while, Pax. Hey, Pax, take me out to Landers or take me out to S&R and we'll get some food or whatever. Now, keep in mind, guys, also on insurance over here, and we always get back to this insurance thing, and I don't want to talk too much about this in this video here, but when we talk about basic, decent, you need at least like $20,000 to $30,000 worth of insurance, and you can get that from Pacific Cross, where it will cover you for one of those big hits where you go into the hospital or whatever, but you also want to have your emergency fund besides that, okay? So if something really big hits, you have the excess money to do that. So you're kind of like, the first $20,000 to $30,000 would be covered by Pacific Cross. Anything beyond that, you're kind of partially insuring with Pacific Cross, and beyond that, you're kind of covering yourself. Or you can maybe make a deal if it's not too much over, where you can make payments monthly for, you know, try to pay them off within a year or whatever, or pay them out of your emergency fund, or pay on a credit card or what have you. I would have some decent credit cards on the side for emergencies and stuff, and we always talk about that also. I would try to get some low interest credit cards, try to do something like that, so that way there you're ahead of the game all the time, plus have the emergency fund. But be sure that you have enough money that you can always bank a little each month and put it into the bank and save it for emergencies. God forbid something happens to you, your girlfriend's kids or whatever, you got that money to fall back on. Remember, a decent amount, $1,500 to $2,000 is a decent place to be. Anybody living below that, and anybody that's telling you to live like that, those are the guys that usually will end up in the hospital, stuck in the hospital, that can't pay their bills. And I'm not trying to poke fun of anybody when I say that. I'm just being honest. Those are the people. I've seen them. I've seen it way too many times happen over here, that when they come over here, they don't have that emergency fund. They don't have any insurance. They don't even have the basic cheap insurance to fall back on. You know, they don't even have that. So when the you know what hits the fan, guess what? Those are the first guys that are out there trying to raise money for emergencies. And I feel bad for those guys, you know, because their planning was horrible, you know. But I mean, what can you do? This you know, when it's too late, it's too late. And a lot of these guys, they go out and they're asking money from other guys. And I feel bad because a lot of guys here, and I can't blame them, will not donate to people like that because they didn't plan correctly. And these guys did plan correctly, and they're not going to give up some of their emergency money for the guy down the street that they barely know. They're just not going to, you know. And a lot of the guys here say no, because I've talked to some of the people here during different situations that we've had with people in the hospital, and they just won't donate. You know, I will donate a little bit sometimes and try to help them out a little bit, but that's it. You know, sometimes we'll try to take up a collection for some of these guys or whatever. I stopped doing that because of the fact that, you know, if you're going to be here, and I've told people hundreds of times, you need to have insurance. You need to have some sort of health insurance over here, not to mention your life insurance. And make sure you put that as part of your budget, is your life insurance. And have that whole life insurance too. So that way there, as your whole life policy builds up, you also have another emergency thing that you can go back to, that you can fall back onto and go in there and get a loan. And that also helps. But anyway, guys, God bless, take care, and we'll see you in our next video, guys.